What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is Agreed to Disagree. We're talking the best team in baseball. Let's go.
Uncle Sweeps, Nick Delgado, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Welcome in, everybody. This is Agreed to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. Every Sunday, we are brought to you by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them right down there on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, Greg Milakovic, Brian Wilson. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. Let's talk about it. We'll do Crumb of the Week at the end of the show. NBA playoff update. If we have time, we'll dive into it. But main topic at hand surrounds the best team in baseball, and we'll preview the upcoming week for the Philadelphia Phillies, and we'll recap the last week since the last time we were on for the Phillies. So we got all that to dissect. But our main poll question, or our only poll question, not even our main one, the only one, with 2 homers against the Marlins, Casty has gotten over his early season struggles. Do you agree or do you disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. And everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation. I agree, not even because of the homers. He's on an 8-game hitting streak, right? So pretty much answers that question if he's gotten over his early season struggles, because he's on an 8-game hitting streak. And he's batting .286 in his last 5. So, he's lost a couple baseballs, obviously. One today. And, one game one versus the Marlins, right? So,
he hit a couple more balls on the screws too. So he's hitting the ball hard.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I mean, I think he's over that for the most part.
I'm sure it'll rear its ugly head again because he's a streaky hitter. He's very streaky. Just hopefully this hot streak continues for a while.
No, he absolutely is a streaky hitter. True, but he's the type of guy. He's the type of guy who, is going to get hot, like regular season hot, for like a month and a half too. So, I don't expect it to go.
When he gets hot, he can carry you.
Yeah, I don't expect it to go away, and you need him to. But I mean, I'm not just speaking for myself. I feel like a lot of people. I didn't think he was not going to come out of it. Right?
I expected him. I think we always say guys usually get towards their the numbers on the back of their card. I mean, he's a guy he's been putting consistent numbers up for a bunch of years now. I would expect him to have he's going to eventually have a good year. He's going to eventually hit. He's not going to hit like 160 like he was hitting.
No, that's not going to continue.
Yeah, no.
Not going to continue. He's up to 209, 4 homers, 16 RBIs. I mean, he's got a lot of work to do to get that up. I'm not telling you he's going on a 30-game hitting streak or anything like that, but he's definitely hitting the ball better, and I couldn't agree to a poll more because of, like I said, you're on an 8-game hit streak. I would assume your early season struggles are over. Right? I don't know how anybody disagrees. So let me know out there. Family, let us know. Boys, let me know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, I mean, I'll echo everything you said. And then he's made even when he's made outs the last couple of days, he's made some loud outs. Chisholm made 2 like running over the shoulder catches that could have been doubles. So I think that whenever you're hitting the ball hard and you're making consistent contact, and he seems like he's going to right center. I think when he's going well, he goes a lot to right center. He's been going to right center a lot. That's a good sign. So yeah, I think he's over it. I think he's ready to roll, and obviously we're gonna need his bat since there's no Trey for a while. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Wilson. I mean, that first home run of the series on Friday was the right center, right? And he smoked it. Even the one today was left center, right? Smoked it, not out trying to yank a ball and pull it. But also, I mean, you could also I absolutely agree as well. I think from like sometime mid-April, he's batting almost 500. Like 428, 430, somewhere in that range. As he's starting to work through it, and it probably coincides with that hitting streak, Tommy. But you just hear him talking about it, right? He's not trying to do anything special, right? He's just trying to see ball, hit ball, as he puts it. And when Nicky is that free in his mind, that you're going to get the best out of him at the plate, right? And the one thing we can always say about Nick is even when he struggled at plate, he still plays some defense.
Yeah.
Right. He still plays his defense, and that's still at a really high level for him. So yeah, I absolutely agree. And it's the mindset that he now has that he, says he switched it off. But I love what we're seeing because, like you guys said, with Trey out, we do need another quote unquote carrier at times.
Yeah, and Kyle. I mean, hopefully Kyle's not banged up bad, but he's missed the last 2 games, and he never misses games. So first 2 of the year, I believe.
Yeah, they are. That's not a good sign. Not really.
They said it day to day though, so that's good at least.
Yeah.
It's that tricky back, right?
Yeah.
You're starting out the best team in baseball, and then you're starting to get these. You don't want the injury bug to creep up on you right now, right? You definitely don't want it because you need all the firepower you can get in this lineup. But that's where it comes down to, you still have a lot of firepower, right? You still have Harper in your lineup. You still have Bohm in your lineup. You have Cassie. You have Stott. Right? You have JT. So it's not like even if a couple guys are out, that you still can't swing it, right? So
backups been hitting a little bit too. Like so, Edmundo had a good weekend.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Edmundo played really well, especially today.
And Rojas homered. That's always good to see. So I mean, Rojas has been. He's coming around. He was really bad in the beginning too. He's coming around. His bat has been better. We're not expecting a ton of him,
right?
But,
he's competitive.
Yeah, we're not expecting a ton of him, but he's been having better at bats, putting the ball in play.
Well, Wills, how about this? Armando Sosa, right? If you tell me you get this, you'll take this all day. Over his last 5, he's batting .308, 3 ribbies, 5 walks, 2 triples, a double, right? Hit by pitch.
Yeah.
And then his stolen base mixed in.
Steal some bags too. Yeah. I mean, the dude does a little bit of everything.
You're like, who's that?
And he plays good defense.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Oh, he made that play today. It was phenomenal late in the game. That play in the hole. That was at the time a game saver, right?
Yeah. SJM, Pache always looks good in Miami for some reason.
He does.
I feel like he should play there. He would fit. You know what I mean? he would fit. But no, I mean, he looks good too.
Yeah.
I mean, this lineup's still really good, even when you're missing some cats. So
no, for sure. I'll tell you what's not a good trend is maybe we don't let Stubbsy catch Zach anymore, because the numbers the last 2 years when Stubbs catches Zach are really not good at all. It's like a 6.7 ERA compared to like a 2.2 when he's with JT or something. So it's maybe we just let Stubbsy catch somebody else.
Sadly, I don't think we had an option today.
No, I know that. I knew they had. I knew it was going to happen today, but I'm just saying it's alarmingly bad when Stubbsy catches him. I'm not sure why that is, but maybe I don't know.
Well, why not just have Stubbs catch last night and let JT catch today?
No, yeah, I mean, I guess that because they faced a lefty yesterday, I guess is probably why. But yeah, I hear you.
No, I mean, then he gets even extra rest on the legs because then he doesn't play till another night game. So it's actually genius. But I mean, what do I know? I mean, I don't know. If that's a trend, something you might not want to do.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to play Stubbsy today. I just think JT came into the locker room today and said his knee was sore, and that's all Thompson needed to hear. That's all Thompson needed to hear. And I guess you truly wanted a day off because the eighth inning or ninth inning, they let Stubbsy hit against a lefty. Where at that point you're like, okay, JT, I need a bat here.
Yeah, I mean, it's something now. We're talking knee as a catcher. I might have to keep him down a little bit longer now. Right?
Yeah, we'll see how he responds tomorrow, obviously. But if the knee's banged up, then we don't want anybody getting out for an extended period of time. If you got to miss a couple games, you got to miss a couple games. Long season, and we have a nice little cushion here with a great start. So
yeah, you get a little bit of one. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't want to start losing games. But listen, we won the series again. Obviously, today kind of sucked. Wheels didn't have it. We let up some runs late. Look, we got back in it. I thought we might going to take the lead. We couldn't get that big hit, but I mean, we still battled, and even though our ace didn't have it, and we still won the series. So, all in all, it's been a good trip so far. And we got the Mets next. Weird little series against the Mets. Like 2 away, 2 home.
Yep,
strange.
Home and home,
strange.
2-2. Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah. You don't usually see that in baseball. I feel like it's like a basketball thing.
No, I have a feeling they're somehow making up for the London series, how it's only a 2-gamer.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I have a feeling this is the series they pulled 1 game of each from. Because I think each team is home over there once.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's very weird how it worked out.
Yeah. It's just weird seeing that you're playing the Mets 4 in a row and then 2 are away, 2 are home stretch.
Yeah, it's also you're going, you're playing New York now, and they just come off a walk-off against Atlanta. So,
yeah,
I'm sure feeling themselves a little bit after that. The bullpen was really good today.
They were.
Yeah, bullpen was great today. Even, obviously the one off Soto's ass, that's just unlucky. If it doesn't hit him, it's a double play ball.
Yep.
And
we're standing there like, please.
Would also be great if Soto was in fielding position there, but he's a relief pitcher. He's not a great fielder. I'm not going to give it to him. A good fielding pitcher fields that ball easy, but that was a rough break, really.
Yeah, we haven't had many of those, which is nice.
I agree. And the relief pitching, though, like you said, was dynamite today. Hoffman looked great today. What's it called? Looked great all weekend. Really, all year, actually. I can't think of his name. Lefty, long hair.
Stromer.
Yeah, Stromer looked great. Guys I don't know what it is. He must hide the fastball well, because guys just watch fastballs down the middle against him all the time. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But okay, we'll take it.
This week I had...
Kirkering was good again.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he was. He looked really good, actually.
He's been decent since he's been caught up. He's had he had an outing against San Fran that wasn't great, and the same against Toronto, where he gave up a run in each of those and a couple hits. But his other times out, no hits. So 3 out of 5 innings, he didn't give up any hits. So
his stuff looked good today.
Yeah, which is when he's going good, specifically him. But you're right about Stromer. He's funky. He's a lefty. Sometimes you just don't pick it up well. He's been really good. He's been really good. And then Spencer, has looked good out of the pen early on here in his relief duties. So
which is good, because some guys don't transition well, so that's good.
Yeah, I would have thought, just knowing how the game was going, I would have thought either Turnbull or Strom would have went an extra inning. Right, so you weren't sitting there in the 10th with the decision between Sir Anthony and Soto. Right, I felt like at the game, I think Turnbull only threw 12 pitches. I know Strom was up there at 20, but I know he's been stretched out before, right? So I almost felt like one of those guys potentially should have went an extra inning, just to kind of stretch out, because Wheels wasn't there today. It didn't go as long as he normally does. To me, it felt like one of those two had to go an extra inning. Kind of like what the Marlins did when they pushed Scott, right? They pushed Tanner Scott that second inning. I think they ultimately took him out, but they pushed him into that second inning. And I thought that's what, the Phillies should have done with at least one of those two.
Wouldn't have been a bad idea, Greg. I'm with you. Once you don't score in the top of the 10th, it makes it really tough. But yeah, I hear you. And John, the Braves have the 3rd best record in baseball. We're 2.5 up on them. That's a cushion.
We're 2 up on them.
Well, they just lost, right? Okay. I thought we were 2.5, but I could be wrong.
Well, maybe it is. MLB.com.
It might be
wrong. MLB.com could be wrong. So, did they lose yesterday?
No, they won the first 2 games of the series.
Okay, so yeah, it's right. 2 games. 2-game lead.
Yeah. The Braves have the 2nd best record in baseball, or 3rd best. I think the Baltimore's in between us. But obviously, the Braves are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they play 2 less games than us. Over 500 teams, they're 9-8. So that's not great. We're 4-2. We played essentially the least amount of teams over 500.
We can also say it's because we've been beating a bunch of teams.
Oh no, I'm not making that case. By the way, I agree with you. I'm not. I don't care who we play. I just saw it and I was just saying it. So
San Diego just kind of beat up on L.A. We went to San Diego and whipped their ass.
Yeah, exactly. This is baseball, baby. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me who you play. You got to go win.
They're all paid to play. Okay, you got to win games. I don't care.
Yeah, you got to go show you're better than somebody.
We've been saying it. Obviously, today wasn't great, but the starting pitching has been just absolutely dynamite. Dynamite.
Yeah.
Or pitching as a whole, right? Even our bullpen.
The starting has been so good that it's incredible.
They have been, though. Yes.
And I mean, that's my only real gripe on the team so far is that Sir Anthony is lost. Like he can't get outs. You almost can't pitch him right now because he can't get outs. He has no control. How did he lose his control so bad? Remember when he was pinpoint a couple years ago?
Filthy.
Man, he's filthy. Yeah, he has no control.
He was filthy.
Swoop says, are you guys okay with Thompson starting between 2 to 4 backups at a time every time he does? Or would you rather it be one backup at a time or the way he does it? Do you mean like the lineup, I guess? Like who he's playing? Yeah,
I think that's what he means.
I would like to spread that out a little bit more, Swoop. I agree with you. You don't need to have four brand new guys in a goddamn lineup one day. Like, mix and match them.
We have 3 guys out. I mean, if I'm not sure how true Greg is about if JT really said that his knee hurt and he needed to be out, I wasn't sure. But then I mean, we have 3 guys that aren't playing them from injury with Trey, JT, and Kyle. So they're all backups are going to play then. And we do play more backups against lefties, it seems like, because a lot of our backups are righties.
Yeah.
And obviously, what's his name has to start against lefties because he hits them better than he hits righties. Stott, for some reason.
Stott came alive this weekend.
His numbers against lefties this year is he's hitting like 340, and he's hitting like 180 against righties, which is very strange. And I think that's going to turn a little bit, but he's crushing lefties.
Yeah, Stotty had a good weekend. He came alive, came with some big hits.
He hit the ball hard like all weekend.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing I want to see. Just hit the ball hard, good things will happen.
Absolutely.
But obviously, I mean, if everyone's healthy, Swope, I think we would prefer, to have our best players in the lineup almost all the time.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not the way Robbie does it. I'm with you 100%, right? But it's like he gets into this mode like we have a lefty pitcher lineup like the Dodgers had a couple years ago where you had nukes coming off the bench. You know what I mean? Everyone's got to get time, and I get that, right? But
if it's only once a week, I'm fine with it. But like if a team
you
throws
face
3
a team like the Marlins,
like where they're throwing a bunch of lefties, and then you see it multiple games in a row, and it's like, okay, I mean these guys don't need to play multiple games in a row.
Yeah,
unless there's injuries. I'm like, withstanding injuries, these guys, these backup guys, these Sosas and these Paches, they don't need to play multiple games in a row.
No,
I'm fine with them here and there. I'm fine with once a week.
Sure.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I think they totally neutralized Marsh this weekend because he only played today. Like he played today. That was it.
Yeah,
Marshy doesn't need 2 days off.
No, that's a joke. He needs to be in the lineup as much as possible. I don't know why that's even a thing. Luke says, "What's up, fellas? No reason to panic. Still best team in baseball." Yep, of course.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Won the series. That's all we're talking about. When we're on the road, we're just talking about winning series. You don't got to sweep everybody. I know the Marlins are a bad team. I get that, but we've had our issues down there before. So,
plenty of times.
Plenty of times. Plenty of years where we had issues.
No matter good, bad, and different.
Yeah.
We've always had issues. Sam says, "Do you guys think Stubbs catching affected Wheeler today? He didn't look comfortable at all." Yeah, we talked about it before. We
I don't know why it is, Sam, but just by the numbers over the last 2 years, he has a very bad ERA when he's caught by Stubbs. He just does.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't like the way Stubbs receives the ball or gives this. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe he is a smaller guy than JT. Maybe that affects Zach, but I don't know.
Good.
I don't know.
No, Luke, that's the biggest question mark I have with Thompson. I don't give him crap about much. But I will absolutely.
I feel like Marshy hits lefties pretty well too.
I will absolutely destroy him for this one. I mean, you have a young player; he's up and coming in this league. He gets big hits, right? He wants to be out there. He's got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. That kind of stuff matters. I don't know why he's not a 5-day-a-week minimum player. You want to give him a break here and there, right? You don't want to play him 7.
Against a tough lefty, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you don't want to play him 7, fine, but like you need him.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about, you don't have these righties off your bench that are like these elite righties that you're rolling out there that's scaring somebody. You have Whit Merrifield. That's it. That's your big righty until Turner's
and
back.
Sosa,
until
I wouldn't even put in that.
Until Turner's back, right? You really like, and when Turner's back, you have Sosa and you have Whit. That's
it, pretty much.
They're
the guys that are going to bat. Like, they're your pinch hit guys. You're not pinch hitting Pache in a tight spot.
Yeah.
No, and I would
That's what I don't understand with Marsh. Is like, to me, Marsh should play over Pache. I don't care if it's a lefty or not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting Pache in the lineup, it should be for Rojas then.
Yeah.
Right? You're not losing much defensively there. It's not like you're taking a big hit. And even in late in games, Rojas can come in for defensive replacement. So you really want to get Pache in the lineup, have him and Marsh play sometimes together. And then if you really want defensive help late in games, then go make a move. But Brandon Marsh, you got to figure out a way to play every day. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know why this is so hard. I don't give a fuck about your numbers. I'm going to say it again. I don't care. Right? Guys guys change up his whole approach as a hitter. So run him out there. Let him get comfortable with it. The more comfortable he gets, the better he's going to get against them. I'm not telling you every lefty he has to see, but it ain't going to hurt you by giving him as many looks as possible too. And if the numbers come out at the end of the year after 150 at bats versus lefties, and it's like under 250, then okay, you might have a gripe unless he lost 10 baseballs. All right. So I mean, it's all in perspective when it's all said and done, but there isn't enough of a sample size to say he can't hit him, especially since his whole stance has changed over the last 2 years. Yep. So you got to give it a chance. I mean, how can I know that? I'm sitting on a damn couch. I seen the difference in his approach and everything. How do they not see it? Yeah. That's the only one. I said I won't get into all the other stuff. I don't really care about getting guys at bats, etc. It doesn't bother me, but that one does. It really does.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Sam agrees.
And it works when we're playing like the Marlins, right? We're playing this schedule. But if you look at our numbers, we are at 500 or below 500 against lefties this year. And because he's going to roll out that lineup of Stott and Marsh not being not being a part of it. Yeah. Right. So we're and it's all fine and good because we're winning right now, right? We're even those games that you lose, we're winning so much else that it's kind of overshadowing it. But as we get later in the year and as we start playing better teams, it's going to come back and bite us in the ass if he continues to be hard-headed about it. And track record is, it seems like he's going to be hard-headed about it because he did that even throughout the playoffs last year. When we saw a lefty, Marshy and Stott, or at least Marshy, was down.
Yeah, Stott's going to play now because he's crushing lefties. But I hear you. I'm not going to – if you think that Marsh has a bad matchup against somebody, to me – what's it called? Always pitches well against us. Who we got to on Friday in the 6th.
Luzardo.
Luzardo. Always. Yeah, 100%. Always pitches well against us. If you want to sit him against Luzardo, he's a tough lefty. I get it. Braxton Garrett to me is a guy that Marsh should be playing against.
Or Trevor Rogers. Trevor
Rogers is the guy you should be playing against. Those are guys that you can light up. I don't care. I don't care if you're batting righty or lefty.
Yeah, unless Brandon Marsh goes to the goddamn office. Right. And there's a backdoor conversation here. And he says to Robbie, hey, Rob, I don't feel comfortable versus lefties. Right. I'm not going to give us the best chance to win. And I know that conversation has not happened.
I was going to say, I'm going to let him say that. So
unless that damn conversation has happened, I don't know what we're doing. We're acting like we got a 31-year-old journeyman. Right. That's how we're treating Brandon Marsh. He's a 31-year-old journeyman. We've seen it. We know what he is. The dude's gotten better every year. I mean, are we watching the same team, the same players? I don't know. I love defense too, but you act like you're taking a hit defensively. You're not even taking a hit defensively. That's a crazy thing. You got a natural center. You got a natural center fielder playing left in a small ballpark.
And technically, Rojas hasn't been as good defensively this year as he was last year. If we're being honest, dropped the ball yesterday that you got to catch.
Who dropped a couple that you should have catch? You dropped 2 in the Giants series.
Yep.
That were
overran.
What are you overrunning, man?
Because I don't know what that feels like overrunning.
I have no voice, by the way. I have no voice from this weekend, by the way. So just to let you guys know, I'm fighting the good fight.
Playing hurt. That's fine.
But my point is, what do you if you ain't picking it at a high elite Gold Glove caliber level, come have a seat, man.
Yeah, 220 don't work. 220 don't work when you're dropping fly balls.
220 don't play now.
And I love you. And I love the kid. But, yeah, absolutely.
Matt says, what up, fellas? Nick is back. Look for him to continue into the Mets series. Yeah, 8-game hitting streak, Matty. So that's what answered that poll.
Yep.
Answered that poll real quick. Well, I mean, Julian, Merrifield should never bat first. Well, with no with no Schwarb, no Turner, I don't really care about trying that. You know what I mean?
He
That
did it
doesn't-
before.
It should be Stott, but I mean, I don't. What's a guy that's kind of he's like your ultimate utility weapon that we have. He can kind of bat him wherever you want to bat him. You can kind of play him wherever you want to play him, and he won't hurt you. That's kind of where he is.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did it.
Hit the ball hard twice today.
He did it in Kansas City, and it's also one of those things too. When you're just replacing one guy, it's easier just to literally replace that guy into that spot, right? As opposed to moving your entire lineup around, and then now you're shuffling 3, 4, 5 guys into a different spot. Witt's done it before. Hey, let's plug you in. We ended up, yesterday we won, so it didn't matter, right? And then, obviously today is a different story, but.
So this year, Brandon Marsh against lefties is 4 for 30, 2 ribbies, 34 plate appearances. So he's only had 34 plate appearances against lefties. 130.
Yeah, 4 for 30, not great.
No, not at all.
about 120.
But again, you're not really giving them the full run at it either. So you're not letting it see if it can get better. But Stott, 37 plate appearances against lefties. He's 9 for 29. So your point is
great.
He's raking, a 310 clip. So
yeah, he's crushing lefties, which is wild. Yeah. Wouldn't expect that.
Now
he just has a great approach against lefties. I feel like.
Now,
stays deep, stays on it, peppers the ball to the other field.
Now here's Rojas.
I don't know how
right?
he hit that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just giving it all to you, right? Here's Rojas.
Yeah,
7 for 32 in 34 plate appearances against lefties, batting 219.
219, 220. Okay, yeah.
But he struck out 10 times, so it's not like it's this big gap between him and Marsh, is my point. Right? It's not a big gap. That's all.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to argue with you because I think you're correct. And honestly, for me, if we're fully healthy, like I'm not sure. Like if we're gonna play someone else against a lefty, I'd probably rather play Witt.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you play Rojas in center, you put Witt in left. He's not going to really hurt you in left, and he's going to hit better than Pache would, or Marsh would against the lefty, per se. If you're going to bench Marsh, I think Witt's the one that should play if we're fully healthy. That is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. And he's 8 for 35 versus lefties with 2 homers. So there's the difference. He's batting 229, okay, right? But he's hit the long ball, right? There's the difference. That's why Witt needs more time versus lefties than if it's Marsh.
I think his MO his whole career has been that he hits lefties well too. Like Witt, I know he started slow. He's probably been better the last month.
Yeah,
because
he had a mini hit streak himself. He had like a 4 or 5 game hit streak himself in his limited time.
What up, Yusuf? He says, "What up, boys? Beware of my Nats. We on the come up." He says.
Listen, the Nats. I was kind of shocked that the Nats they're like 500, right? They're like right at 500.
Yeah.
Not playing bad ball. I like some of their pieces. I really, really like C.J. Abrams.
Pretty good.
The kid, the lefty that pitched today that they got from San Diego,
Mackenzie
Gore.
Did he have a good outing?
He's been throwing pretty well.
Yeah.
He strikes guys out. He's they let him go deep. I think he threw 110 pitches today. I love that.
Thank God we missed him. We know what that lineup would have been like.
I think I don't know. I like the Mets. I like the Nats. The other guy that's hurt right now, I really like Lane Thomas. That's my guy. I would love some Lane Thomas.
Lane Thomas is
awesome.
He's a beast. He's a
guy that crushes
guy.
lefties. That guy crushes lefties.
He always hits us too. I feel like he always has good games versus us. But C.J. Abrams was a great pickup.
Yeah, he can play.
You know,
he can really play.
That trade to get when that Soto deal.
Yeah,
that's one of the key pieces in that deal. And
him and Gore, I think, right?
Yeah, and he's really good. He's really good.
And they have some kid. I don't know
he's
how
got a lot of
doing in minors, but he's like a 6'7" center fielder.
That's fun.
Matt Wood, or something like Wood, or something.
They have like 3 guys that are all supposed to come up soon, right?
Yeah.
Well, the one just came up, Lipscomb, who's like one of their higher top prospects.
James Wood.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
then there's a third baseman too, I think, that they have. That's like a upper level prospect. And the kid from the Reds has been hitting the ball for him. That everyone thought was going to be good in the Reds kind of stunk. Nick Senzel.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick Senzel. Is that where he ended up?
Yeah, he's been hitting the ball.
But no,
He was
I
always just hurt.
actually like CJ Abrams though. I mean, that's the big one.
Oh, so do I. I think he's really good. He's a really good player. I've always liked their catcher, Kyber Ruiz. He's solid. And then the second baseman, I can't think of his name, but he's solid too. Garcia, maybe.
Yeah,
Their biggest issue is going to be starting pitching. Like that might be their biggest issue with competing. Like this year, I would say.
Yeah, it seems like they're back to being the old Gnats, right? How they're always that team in your division that's always going to be around and give you problems, but they're really not that good. You know what I mean? Or they shouldn't be that good, but But yeah, they're young and they seem to have gotten the better end of that. I'm not saying getting rid of Soto is always the better deal.
Well,
but at least the pieces you got back seem to be decent pieces.
When you consider that Soto played 1 year of San Diego not making the playoffs, then yes, they definitely got a better deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about Dylan Cruz too, the kid from LSU.
That's the kid, Dylan Cruz. That's who I'm talking about. He's a monster.
James Wood too. Yusuf says James Wood.
Dylan Cruz is who I was thinking of. He's third baseman.
No, Dylan Cruz is center fielder. You're thinking Brady
right?
House.
Brady House. Okay, they have multiple guys. Yeah. They have like some young talent.
Sadly, when you drafted the top 5, top 10, you're going to have some guys, right?
Yeah, that's true. And when we trade away your whole team, I mean, half our team used to be on their team. Our best players used to be on their team. Schwarber, Harper, Turner, all used to be in that.
Yeah, you're right. Luke, how classic is that, Luke? Hawks lose both play-ins.
How crazy is that?
And they get the number 1. And he said that the Sixers lost both play-ins, we would have the number 1 pick. Could you imagine?
Yeah, we never would have gotten it, though. We would have gotten
They wouldn't have let the Sixers have that.
Yeah. Would have never happened for us.
Well,
but I hear you. That is wild, though.
Well, guess what? You're going with the 16th pick, and I'll say it again, and we'll keep Sixers quick, or we'll talk about when we get in the playoff stuff maybe. But, you got to start looking for those juniors and seniors, right? You want to start looking for those types of like guys who come in and have an impact.
Play right away.
Some sort right away for you if you're gonna use the pick, right? If you're gonna use it, it's all up to if you use it or not.
Yeah, don't use it, on a guy that's good and then trade him, like especially if his mom works, in the organization.
Yeah.
Let's not do that again. We were talking about this the other day though, the other night I was at Shelly's house where we had like a little discussion about the Sixers, and we are talking about it's crazy. We really haven't hit many picks. I mean, if you think about it, like Maxey, I would consider Maxey after the process, because we were already in the playoffs for a little while at that point when we drafted Maxey, so I won't even count him. Like, to me, we really only hit Embiid. If you think of it, the other 2 picks that we hit, the other 2 best picks we made, I know Ben was good for a little while, but we can't count him as a good pick. The 2 best picks we made were Jeremy Grant in the second round. We didn't keep him. And probably Mikal Bridges, who we traded that night.
Or T.J. McConnell.
Well, I love T.J. McConnell. Don't get me started. Love T.J. McConnell.
I actually disagree with you. I think when it all shakes out, the other best pick, even though it will never live up to the billing, would probably be Markelle Fultz at this point.
Okay, possibly.
Like that's my only devil's advocate.
Too much, but he has played well for the Magic when he's been healthy.
Yeah, he's a good little player. He's not worthy of the pick, obviously. Right, but when you look at, obviously Jeremy Grant way more value.
Yeah, from where you got him. Yeah,
way more value. So listen, I get it. I just say that one's a close one. I really hope the Knicks blow this series.
I can't wait for it.
If you guys want to talk a little bit about this, we can continue to talk Phillies, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Talk a little Sixers. I know Wills hasn't really got a chance to dive into that like me and you have, Greg, but I'm always open for. I'll say it again. For my 100th time, I'm always open for a blank canvas talk because that's where we're at. So
I could dive in.
Where do you go, Wills? Where do you go from here, babe? Where do you go?
I was trying to tell myself yesterday that I still think that we're in a good spot, but I don't know if we are. I don't know. Obviously, we don't have much on the books. We got Maxey. We got Joel. I don't know. Everyone's talking PG. I'm not a PG guy, so I'm not. That doesn't excite me one bit. I would take Jimmy Butler, absolutely, but he's older now. But I still take him because he's a killer. We're missing that killer. I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I'd take LeBron. I know. Greg's going to roll his eyes, but I'd take LeBron at this point. He's better than Toby. He ain't going to not show up in the playoffs. I know that. You can stamp that. Fact. And I'd love TJ back, by the way.
Yeah.
Watching TJ play great for
Joel.
Indiana has just driven me crazy.
I know. So would Joel. Joel would love him back too, because that's his guy. Always.
But I just don't. I mean, listen, we're still probably going to be pretty good next year, but it's always going to be the same thing. Can we get over the hump in the playoffs? And as of now, I mean, probably not.
All right. So your number one target is Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, probably.
How about Murray from Atlanta?
I'm in on that
I
one.
would.
They got the
I would
number
be-
one pick. They probably want out from him. They want to try to build around this pick and Trae Young. You give him the 16th
I just
pick.
don't know. I don't know.
You don't have
I'm
to
not
match-
sure
you
how
don't have
good
to match money.
DeJounte Murray is, though.
Oh, I hear you.
I'd take LeBron over DeJounte Murray.
At the age, though, like what
Yeah,
you're getting
I
at
would.
the age.
I would.
I mean, I'm not against LeBron. I'm not against the LeBron side. I want Jimmy more.
I'm kind of against it, but
I'll
because of
take
how he is, I don't want him off the court. But how he is on the court, I love it.
I'm just saying. I think gun to my head, give me Jimmy.
Yeah, first I'll take Jimmy first.
Jimmy's my number one. I think it's doable too, because you don't have to match money, which is crazy. They just have to accept the deal because it's the off season and you have the money to spend. So that's
True.
why we're
Okay,
even in a better spot. I didn't know that until Wednesday night. And the youngin, Luke Brown, educated me, gave me a little educational tutorial. Didn't know. So you always had a match, but you don't in the off season when you have the money to spend. So really, it's just how many picks do you want for him?
True, yeah.
And then how many picks are you willing to give up, as a fan and organizationally for him too at 35 years old? I'll drive to there right now.
I mean, just because of the fact that we know our window is closing.
Yes.
That I'll take him. Yes, in a heartbeat.
But the only reason
whatever you want me to trade, I'll take.
The only reason I may consider Murray over Jimmy in this situation a tiny, tiny bit is purely the age. And if I'm giving up the picks, I can team him with Maxey and have that backcourt for a while in a guard-driven league right now. In a guard-driven league, I get two really talented guards.
He is very talented. I just don't know how good he is, though. I agree that he's very talented, but to me, he's another guy that's when they've been in the playoffs, he's come up small. He hasn't played well. I don't know. He's not a great shooter. He's good at getting to the rim.
Teams.
He's very good at getting
for
the
bad
rim.
teams too, though.
Yeah, but the Hawks have been in the playoffs the last 2 years. Well, or like the play-in at least, and they haven't won.
Yeah, this is his first year with the Hawks. He was with the Spurs.
It wasn't his first year with the Hawks. But he's been. I know he's with the Spurs. He's been with the Hawks for 2 years at least.
Luke.
But I like Murray for age too, but the size as well, right? He's a bigger guard, so it allows him to. He's 6'5", but it's different from what Maxey is, right? You know what I mean? Like Maxey's small, so if you go with like our lineup this year, right? Kyle Lowry or Campaign next to Maxey, that's a really small backcourt, especially defensively, right? On the offensive side, at least Campaign and Maxey can get by you at times, and Maxey in most of the time, but defensively they're really small, right? So that's where I think Murray, gives a little bit more value as well. If that's possible. He's
another slasher though, right? Like him and Maxey has gotten way better shooting.
I mean, his last game against the Bulls this year, he was 11 for 21 from the field. He dropped 30 points in 46 minutes, 3 for 6 from three. The game before that, he was 4 for 6 from three. I mean, he shot 36% from three.
So he's shooting better then.
He shot 36% from three this year. He shot 45% from the field. So, I mean, and then he gives you
36% from three is better than I thought he did. I'll give you that.
So, I mean, he's gotten better with it, right? I mean,
that's a good sign. It's a good sign.
He's got 34% last year, 32% the year before, and 31. I mean, he's 27 years old now, right? But he gives you pretty much that whole line of production, like 5.5 boards, 6.5 assists, about 1.5 steals a game.
He's a solid defender, yeah.
So I mean, it's really what do you want? Do you want a little bit younger and Murray at 27, or are you going for a guy who's got a proven track record in the playoffs and Jimmy Butler, but you're just dealing with the age of it?
I might make Murray 3 now. Murray might be my 3rd target. I just want Jimmy because I know Jimmy. I know that when we get to the playoffs, Jimmy's going to play great. It's a fact. It's happened for 6 straight years.
No, you're right. He has. That's what I was saying to Greg. Greg wants no parts of him. You know,
Mr. Rudy Poo. Mr. Rudy Poo hopping on. I like that, Mr. Rudy Poo. Jump on board. I'm with you. Even though Tom just said he's shot 36%, I feel like I see the same thing when I watch him play.
Yeah, and it probably is, right? You know what I mean? I'm not telling you he's great.
But that means he's definitely gotten better, though. Like you said, which is always that. Listen, if you're going to continue to improve, I'm fine with that.
I mean, but again, I'm taking Jimmy because again, I know what Jimmy's toughness brings. So, like, what other options do you have unless you just keep your picks and you try to surround with like lower level players, right? I mean, you have direction. It doesn't have to be Jimmy. You can go and try to like.
We can just get a bunch of 3 and D guys and just tell Joel, get your ass on the fucking block.
You try to spend a little bit more. You spend a little bit more for OG Anunoby. You spend a little bit more for a backup big. You know, you maybe spend a little bit.
Judas is out there now.
Maybe just play through Joel, like kind of how Denver plays through Jokic. He passed the ball a lot better this year than he ever has. Maybe just like play through him, let him catch it on the block and play through him. Catch it at the foul line, play through him. I wouldn't mind changing like a little bit of that kind of thing. A little more of that. Like that's if we don't go get Jimmy and we decide to go like more of a 3 and D thing. But yeah, to me, the biggest glaring thing while watching the Sixers the last couple games that I watched them, especially the game that they lost, the last game, we just don't play in defense. There's open jumpers all day. You watch some of these other teams play, every jump shot's contested. These guys are going to make open jumpers. These guys get paid millions of dollars. They shoot 300 jumpers a day. They're going to make open jump shots, guys. Like
and guards eat us up. Eat us up.
Eat us up. And wow, like how in the closing seconds of a humongous game, I understand that Josh Hart's the guy you're like, oh, we'll let him beat us. He still can't. He can't dribble and stand still and shoot a jumper with no near him. Someone has to get a hand up. Someone has to be there and get a hand up. They have to. That's what I don't get. I don't understand how guys are so wide open. That's crazy to me. I was losing my mind watching that last game because we're the only team in basketball that can win that game 5 in the way we won it, with Maxey just being superhuman and then go and lay a fucking egg at home game 6, especially after we're down 20 and then go up 10. Like we took their heart, went up 10, and we just said, oh, we won't play any more defense now. Just make jumpers and come back in the game. Yep. No other team does that but us. That's how weak we are. That's why we need a killer like Jimmy, because we're weak.
Yeah, we need a few of them.
Yeah, we might need to.
I mean, Max.
We might need to. Might have to draft Bronny at 16 just to get LeBron over here.
Bronny.
Got it. Bronny can be like Thanasis.
Just there cheering him on.
Just hanging on the bench. He's got to go back to college, right? He's not getting drafted.
Well, that was the rumor of him going to Villanova.
Like if LeBron came here, he would go to Nova?
Yeah, him transferring to Nova.
Oh, I'm sure Greg would love that. I mean, Nova wasn't very good this year. You'd probably bring him in.
No.
I'm sure you could use him. You could use him. I mean, he seems to be a smart, like an IQ kid, definitely with the game, where he got it from his daddy.
He played a couple games I watched USC. He played okay. They had the other kid that was like the way better player, the guard, but he played okay. Isaiah Collier, maybe his name was.
So Tankathon, as of right now, mock draft wise, if the Sixers stay, Tankathon has them taking Kyle Filipowski at 16.
Oh, the big white Duke guy. Whites are back. Not sure if he's back.
Baylor Shireman, the small forward from Creighton, at 41.
Oh, I do like Baylor Shireman.
That's the intriguing one. That's the intriguing one. Yeah, I don't know really how much Filipowski fits, but
I know Filipowski's a good player and he had a good he had a good season at Duke and everything. I don't know if that I would take Filipowski.
And I've also seen Tristan Da Silva right around there. Like Tankathon has him going 20, so like he in theory is available.
Where'd he go? Who's
Colorado. He's that small forward, power forward combo from Colorado.
Okay.
But regardless, those guys in theory could come in and play. Like to Tommy's point, right? You could come in and play right away, right? Filipowski or whoever, those types of guys can come in and play right away. Baylor Shireman can have a role off the bench right away. The way
that's what we need, really. That's what we need.
Mr. Rudy, super chat. He said, tell you what, we better not draft an undersized wing defender. He's got no offensive game.
He brought the Silva.
And the Silva catches my eye. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's like, when you're drafting now, because all the early picks are like going to be those high upside cats, the freshmen, the really young players. And what they're doing now is allowing teams that are ready to win or winning per se, drafts, if they're smart, they go that like Miami route in a way where you're drafting 4-year players, you're drafting guys with like certain skill sets. You're not trying to go for like the home run. I got this kid with high upside, let me take a shot at him. And it helps you out a little bit building out a roster if you do it right.
I agree with you, Tom.
Does not mean that there's not a freshman there that has huge upside that just falls. That's a different conversation, right? Or a sophomore that falls.
You might have to wait a couple of years on him to be really good. But he might have like tremendous upside. I know what you're saying.
Well, you might be able to get
like
a 3
Jamie
and D
Jaquez
guy
for Miami. That's a great, Jamie Jaquez is a guy that played 4 years at UCLA. Comes in, he helps Miami right away. Now he might not have the highest ceiling, but he's going to come in and help you right off the bat. Like a guy like that would be great. And obviously,
you're looking for
a guy a little better
impact. You're looking for immediate impact. If it's a 3 and D guy, if it's a sharpshooter, if it's a Mr. Do Everything type, right? You're looking for those types of guys. I'm not saying they grow on trees, but you got a really good chance with some 4-year players out there that are coming out that are going to fall for different reasons and get sort of punished for staying in school, where it's like, it's not, you're not doing anything wrong by taking that guy because he still has upside at 23 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's not like, because he's not 19 doesn't mean he doesn't still have upside in his game. You can still grow at 23 years old. So, I like some of those guys, and especially if you want to go a little bit on the football route the way we have is, I'm looking for some winners. I'm looking for 4-year cats that have spent time places and won basketball games.
Yeah.
Right. Because at this point, when you're trying to change a culture, and we're just talking about getting past the second round, but when you're trying to change a culture, you need to start drafting some winners. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Even if that guy's not as talented as the next guy that highest on your board. If they're close, you give him the edge because he's won. And you hope that you start fluctuating some of those kind of guys in here. And I'm not saying you had to win the whole damn thing. You had to be from UConn, you know what I mean? But I need guys that have been successful in the dance too. I've took their teams on runs, etc. You know how it goes. That's a long dance, right? So, if you lose in the Final Four or whatever, but I'm looking for guys who were impactful, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah,
no, absolutely.
I'm with you. I like the big. Now this is a guy that might help you right away, but maybe not the greatest ceiling. But the big dude from Clemson, PJ Hall. PJ Hall is a guy that's going to be available. We could probably get it maybe in the second round. And he's a guy that's played a lot at Clemson. Obviously, just took them on a run to the Elite Eight, and he can do a little bit of everything. Kind of big boy. He can bang. He can shoot a little bit. I like his game.
Yeah, and the other thing too with the way the NILs work in college sports too, you're not getting as many projects in the first or freshman projects coming out, right? The guys that are coming out as freshmen or sophomores are developed and ready to go, because why would you leave the free money that you're getting in college? And that's what the whole recruiting aspect has changed, and all these, the transfer portal and stuff like that. It's trickling down to the NBA to where some of these guys coming out are more ready and able to contribute right away.
Well, they're saying, I think they're staying longer. You would expect
Yeah.
that to probably continue for the next little while now. This little bubble of NIL, guys are definitely going to be coming out and staying longer in college, coming out more ready, like you said, because of the fact that they get paid in college now. So
Yep.
no reason to run to the NBA after 1 year. If you're making a couple mil in college, you can just hang around.
Exactly.
Greg says, how you guys feel about this trade?
Laurie Markkinen would fit great. I was talking about him last year.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to then go do a Jimmy. You can then go lower level stuff after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
not lower level, but
I just don't think he's available. Sadly, because I love the name too.
Well, they ain't winning anything over in the West anytime soon.
No, they're not.
So, you can go get three first-round picks.
It would have been great if we had done it last year because you could have got him a lot cheaper. He had a really good year this year. Really good.
Yeah, but I mean, the point is you can still go off.
If you want him, you get him. I agree
if you want to give 3 first-round picks and a second, you're getting them. Yeah. They ain't going to hang up the phone on you, especially if one of those is the unprotected Clippers pick. That unprotected Clippers pick gets you whatever you want. That's the final point of this whole conversation. That 2028 unprotected Clippers pick will line you up for whatever player you want.
Yeah, so everyone's thinking PG's going hard and then Kawhi retired at that point. Clippers stink. Yeah,
Clippers stink. That's a big time pick for a team. So that's the pick. So you have such leverage here that you can really call anybody. Who do you want? Really? Who do you want from a team that's just not there anymore? You know what I mean? You know who else? I'll pick up the phone and call.
The Suns.
Well, I ain't even thinking about the Suns.
I think Devin Booker would fit.
Listen, I like Devin Booker. I'm thinking about a guard.
I think Devin Booker would fit. Okay, hold on. Let me hear.
He's on the West.
Let's see. How about
De'Aaron Fox?
No, but I do love De'Aaron Fox, but no. Because they're still winning, right?
That's what. Just knowing you, that's why I took a guess.
What, Steph? Steph? I'm Steph.
I'll make the call.
I mean, Golden State looks like they might be taking on Woodard. I'm not sure. It might be the end of that.
I'll make that call.
Yeah, I mean, if Steph wants to come, let's go. Giddy up.
No, but all jokes aside, though, you have that pick, and that pick is impactful.
Yeah, last time we had a pick like that, we put it with Jared Bayless and ended up with nobody.
All right, True. Greg, let's not rain on our parade now. All right, Greg.
I forget who was that pick. We attached to Jared Bayless with an unprotected pick, and it was supposed to be. I think it was this past year, because it would have been Bronny's. It would have been Bronny's year that you could jump back from high school when everyone thought Bronny was going to be a stud. And we gave it up with Jared Bayless. Let's see here.
Ethan, you're right. I think Mikal Bridges or Lauri Markkinen would be the best fit. It's a better version of Michael Porter Jr. for the Nuggets. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. They're 2 really good names. And you had the capital to get either one of them. Like, if you really want Bridges, that unprotected gets you Bridges if that's who you want.
I used to love Clay, too.
I would love Clay off my bench.
I just don't think. I think the injuries have caught up to Clay now. He's just not the same guy he used to be. When he was an awesome wing defender, and obviously, he filled it up. I would have loved Clay. 5 years ago, I loved Clay.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I would still take Clay off my bench.
And I don't want PG. PG, I'm going to put my hand up. I'll put my hand on the Bible, okay? Paul George stinks.
Bible talk.
Paul George is a fucking loser. He's James Harden 0.2. He's right-handed James Harden. I want nothing to do with Paul George. Nothing. I said this before we got Harden, too. I called him a loser, said we weren't going to win. Nail on the head.
Yeah, I would hope PG isn't the answer. If it is, I'm not going to flip out.
I mean, he's a good player, but I just know that he's going to come up small in the playoffs, like he always has.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I don't want to add a guy that comes up small in the playoffs to a team that comes up small in the playoffs. It's not a great idea.
No. Not the direction you're trying to go here.
That's why I want Jimmy, because I know he's a killer.
He is.
I mean, it's just facts. I know he's old. I get that he's old. He was hurt this year in the playoffs. He could be hurt again next year. Who knows? But I know he's a killer.
No, but I think Mikal Bridges is maybe the direction you try to go here. Because if you dangle
full circle,
if you dangle that pick to them, I think you can get them.
I'm sure you could. I would agree with you.
If you dangle that pick to the Nets, I think you get him. Is he worth that pick to you guys?
I don't know. That's my whole thing. I'm not
16?
sure.
No, the unprotected.
No,
the unprotected? I don't know.
I just don't know that I'm not sure how good Mikal Bridges is. I know he's a good player, but he played really good on the Suns as like now, granted, he would be more of a third fiddle here, like kind of how he was on the Suns, not really the head guy like he was on the Nets where he didn't play as great. So maybe you could factor that in. Like he would fit better here. I'll give you that if you want to go with that argument. And he's from the area, obviously Villanova guy, but I just don't know. I don't know. I would be, if we can get him without giving up the unprotected pick, Tommy, I'm in. Sign me up. But if we have to give that one, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's fair. I mean, I would like
16?
to give 16.
I could probably do 16.
I'll do 16. Yeah, I'll do 16 in a heartbeat. I'll do 16 in next year's first.
Yeah, I'll give him 2. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem giving you two picks. But I do think he's a great fit here. I don't think he's ever going to
fit here.
I don't think he's ever a number 1, but I think like worst case, he could be a good 2 with Maxey. Like worst case, right? But at the end of the day, is he better than Tobias Harris? Yes and yes. So do we win that series?
I would think he's better probably on both sides of the ball.
Do we beat the Knicks with Mikal Bridges over Tobias Harris?
I'll say yes.
Yes.
Because the other thing he does too, when you
like Luke says, you can fill up the rest of your roster.
Yes, when you factor in also, like a guy like Buddy Hield, right? He gives you more than Buddy Hield does too, right? Like, well, and I'm not saying he's coming off the bench, right? But he plays defense. He could create his own shot, and we saw in the playoffs that Buddy was lost if he didn't have open space.
No, I mean, you're right.
I mean, Buddy shot it well in that last game, obviously. But, I mean, Buddy is, when it comes to the playoffs, Buddy is strictly a 3 guy. There's not even a D involved there. It's just a 3 guy.
Yeah, and I think, like, Bridges is solid.
He plays solid defense, for sure.
Like he's not great. He's solid.
Yeah.
He's solid.
He's probably not as good as DeJounte Murray, so it probably makes sense that he's cheaper, but it's also beneficial that he's cheaper though too. You know what I mean?
Because it depends what you want to do.
It's not that much of a gap between him and Murray.
You would obviously want to bring Kelly Oubre back.
Yes, I would like to bring Kelly Oubre.
You obviously want to make some other moves to make yourself deeper. If that's bringing like a guy like Anthony Melton back, whatever it may be, or outside the organization, right? You want to be able to get this flexibility. You make your team like 8-9 deep and strong, like a strong 8-9 deep, and that just makes you better overall. So you have some things you want to do, and this gives you that flexibility, and you might have to give up 2 firsts for it, but that's not the end of the world. And then because you're not spending a ton of money on it, and then it gives you the options like, okay, did you still want to, did you still want a Jimmy? All right, you can't do that now. So because you don't have the pick. So it's really, what do you want to do? Do you want to give up picks for a player like that? And then he's cheaper, and then you can go and get, like somebody said, Malik Monk. There's a lot of different names that you can bring in that can help you on the second tier of this free agency. Those second tier players, like I said, like OG Anunoby, I would give him more than New York wants to give him. Right? I'm looking to do things like that to make myself tougher.
So I'm with you on that.
I need to make myself tougher.
Yeah,
and I think
I don't like that he's hurt all the time, but
shit, welcome in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Welcome home, babe. Welcome
He'll
home.
fit in perfect.
That's like the same thing I was saying yesterday, Tommy, about Paul George. Like,
yeah, I mean,
Paul George. I don't want Paul George, but a guy that's a really good player, that's a fucking loser in the playoffs. I mean, he'd fit. He fits right in.
The one thing that sucks about PG and why I don't put him in the Harden category is because he's like smooth as shit. Right.
He is. And like, when he plays well, you're like, man, this guy's awesome.
Yeah. Where Harden's like this slow man game, he slows you down. Like PG ain't gonna slow us down.
Draws fouls. Like
now is PG a great third option for a basketball team? Like that's the other conversation in this. You're not asking him to come in
And he
and
can
carry
get his
it.
own shot. He can.
Yeah, you're not asking him. So again, that's why I'm not going to flip out if that was the situation. You're just paying a lot of money for an old guy, but our window's now. So
Yeah,
you know if they don't want to run the Jimmy back because they're more concerned about his injuries at this point than PG's, that was in the PG world. I don't really think you can go wrong with either or. Even though I lean way more to Jimmy because of his postseason, unlike PG's, but
PG's
also had big games in the postseason too, though. It's not like he's never had big games.
He had one this year
So
against Dallas.
yeah, so I mean, but again, I don't think he's a one option anymore. But he's sure as hell. If he's your 3, I think you're in a really good spot. You could be in a lot worse.
Yeah,
and
for
sure. And do you win this series if you have PG over Tobias Harris? Yes.
Yes.
So I mean, it's how you look at it. Are you close to being as good as Boston? Yes. Are you're close? You're in that conversation. I mean, you got a 3-headed monster coming at you that anyone can drop 30 a night. So, and I have way more faith in PG being consistent than James Harden ever was too. Even though they're very similar, PG's better than Harden. He's always has been in my eyes, right?
He's younger as well. And yeah, no, I listen. I think I'm not a big fan of either one of them, but PG,
no, I'm not.
I would put PG above Harden. Yes.
Can I make this case again? Like I'm not claiming I'm Mr. PG. I'm trying to talk about how that if they did it, how I could like try to wrap my head around it.
I used to think he was awesome before he snapped his leg. He was awesome,
but he still came back and was a really good player.
He is a very good player. Don't get me wrong.
And how much of it is the stench of LA? How much is the stench of who he's around and the flux and how much fluid that situation's been? A guy's in and out of lineup all the time.
Yeah, it's strange over there. I mean, you got a lot of big name guys. Kawhi, Russ, Harden, him, just never really worked out over there.
But Jimmy brings you a team that right off the bat, as soon as that trade happens, that
you're better in the playoffs. We're an
Eastern Conference Finals contender, right? You take that for what it is, but that's where we're at. But then there's still a lot of roster to build out. So to me, the Bridges sounds honestly like arguably the best one because you can fill out so much more. But it depends on how. Now, does Daryl Morey go star hunting, or does Daryl Morey?
I like that name, by the way, Brinks. I don't want to leave you out there without acknowledging it. But I do like Brandon Ingram, another guy that's always hurt, though.
Yeah.
There was a time early in the process or early in the draft times that I was on the Brandon Ingram over Ben Simmons. There was a small period of time where I'm sure I wasn't the only one. But yeah, he unfortunately is just as hurt.
I mean,
speaking of Ben, would anybody entertain a reunion?
No.
Excuse me.
I mean, what? First off, you just can't because of how he would get destroyed here in the city by the fans. But also, what is he spent more time in the Met Gala than he did on the court this year. So I mean, come on, like we can't do nothing with Ben Simmons. And I used to like Ben Simmons. We can't do anything.
I'm trying to look something up, and this guy goes here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not even looking at his face.
I'll take him over
Jimmy.
Mr. Rudy Poo, I would accept that trade in a heartbeat. And the fact that Greg says he would take Ben over Jimmy just proves to you everything you need to know about Greg Milakovic. That's really, you don't need to know anything else about Greg Milakovic. That's all you need to know.
Real quick, Brandon Ingram is not like the best name he's heard in a while because a couple things brings. He doesn't play full seasons, and he's not that good.
He's always hurt.
He's always hurt, and against the Thunder, he's 2 for 14 with 8 points in 39 minutes. So you want to talk about just running cardio? You know what I mean? In the biggest game of the year. So if Brandon Ingram don't do it.
Having a couple skate out there?
Yeah. He just don't do it for me. Mr. Rudy said, I'll tell you what, I'm coming around the Jeremy Grant deal if Portland adds Simmons in that deal. I just don't want Rob Will.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Simons can shoot. I like him. I'm a Syracuse fan. I've always liked Jeremy Grant.
So what deal's this, Rudy? What's this deal you're talking about? Where'd you see this deal at? This deal to Portland? Because I'm all in now. You want to start trading picks? Like we'll trade picks. We'll trade some unprotected. If you give me Grant and Simmons, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
And not Ben Simmons either.
Yeah, Anthony.
and he can play. Anthony can play.
Yeah, he can
And so
fill it
can
up.
Jeremy. So can
Yeah,
Jeremy. Jeremy's
Jeremy
just
can do a
tough.
little bit of everything. Yeah,
You know,
Jeremy can do a little bit of everything.
Jeremy, again, when he had to be like the guy places, he's like
He struggles.
he struggles.
He averaged like 26 a game for Detroit that one year, but they were bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like I like him. I think he played well for Portland the last 2 years as like a second, third fiddle guy.
And Anthony's young.
Yeah, he's pretty
right?
young, probably 24, 23.
He's 24. He's 24. So
yeah, that's what I figured. He can shoot it.
Jeremy's 30 now. Now you got to take on that deal, which I think's big.
It's definitely not super small. It's probably 25 mil a year.
I mean, listen, he shoots well from three the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's had a good year. He's played well. He's become more of a 3-and-D guy.
Yep. I mean, I'm in on that deal because Simons gives you the young 24-year-old to team up with Maxey.
Yeah.
I really like that part of it. And then I like Jeremy Grant brings you some toughness. He brings you that 3-and-D like you just talked about. So
he's better than Tobias. I mean, you
tell
me right now, Jeremy Grant's better than Tobias.
That team's so much better. You have so much more options in scoring and so many ways you can go. So I like it.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at that deal, and even just Portland in general, right? That was something we were targeting and trying to get through at the deadline, right?
Yeah.
Portland was one of those teams, and Utah with Lauri Markkanen, right? Some of those teams we were trying to do that, or at least we were, right?
Yeah,
we were
talking about
at the deadline.
Yeah, for sure. I would love that deal, especially because if you look at Portland, you're like, well, I mean, they would just probably want to get young. Like they're not winning anything anytime soon. So that I think you could probably get anything you want from Portland. You could be like, hey, throw in this guy too because we kind of like him. And they'll probably throw him in.
Yeah, like Mr. Rudy Poo said, they have a crowded guard room.
They do. I mean, I think some of their young guys that played decently well at the end of the year this year. One of them was a forward. He's got a weird name. Can't think of his name. But I mean, like you could probably just be like, hey, throw that guy in. They're like, yeah, sure.
How about this? How about this from Luke?
They destroyed us when we played them a couple times.
Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. Name's the pick you want.
Yeah, I think two guys that.
I've always liked Cam Johnson's game. He's a big time three ball shooter.
Yeah,
and I like Mikal. I think Mikal's better than Toby. So yeah, you could sign me up for that.
Yeah, there are two deals that I'm in for.
Cam Johnson. I don't think he missed the 3-pointer against Syracuse in 3 years at North Carolina. fucking asshole.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take him.
I'll take that deal because you're not getting like old men back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
Same reason I would do to Portland because you're getting you're not getting stars back, but you're getting really good players, and really good players fit. You know what I mean? Because you have stars, and then if you can somehow bring Oubre back with that mix, I mean, now you're feeling like okay, I'm on this.
That's kind of how you got to do it now. I feel like it's almost this is like if you look at around the league
have
right
two
now,
stars.
Yeah, and if you look around the league right now, like it's the end of the super team. I feel like none of those teams that are supposedly the super teams with their 3 superstars are left in the playoffs. They're all out. You know what I mean? Like it's more of you get 2 star players and you just build good players around them. Like look at Denver. Denver went out and got Aaron Gordon. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr. has come into his own the last couple of years, but like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Christian Braun's become a good player. Aaron Gordon was a huge get for them. These are just guys that are good players around 2 stars in Murray and Jokic. Like we have our 2 stars. We should get good players to surround them.
Yeah.
Dallas went and did that this year at the deadline. Dallas made 2 great trades at the deadline. PJ Washington has been awesome for them, and I can't think of the other guys. Yes, Daniel Gaffney. And all of a sudden they went from they're like, well, Kyrie and Luka can really score, but they don't play any defense. And all of a sudden they play defense because they got 2 guys that can play some damn defense. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, Dallas pretty damn good. Like they're probably gonna go to West Conference Finals. They're gonna beat Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's just too young. They're not ready.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma City's coming though. Watch out. They're coming.
Yeah, Portland doesn't need roster spots. And they're trying to do the Oklahoma City thing and get as many picks as they can. So you're the team that has that unprotected. So if you're willing to give that unprotected up for Grant and Simons, then I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in for that.
Yeah.
Because then you still have like
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
I mean, Luke said on the Bridges one, you would have like the Bridges and Johnson, you have like 20 million to spend. You wouldn't have as much to spend if you went this route because of Grant's money.
Right.
I believe it's more than Bridges at this point. So that ties you a little bit. So it's whatever one you think's better in that deal. That's a tough one. What direction I would go? I probably would think about going to Bridges and Cam Johnson because of maybe the age and the flexibility money wise, right? Because now I can bring an Oubre back. I can do some other things. So I'll go that route because I'm just trying. If I'm going to go this route to begin with, I'm not getting a star back from Portland. Right?
I need to know. I mean, listen. I think that you probably get if Simons and Grant are both healthy. I think you'll probably get a better return than with the Nets, but it's very close. Just because I think Simons is a step above Cam Johnson. I would put Mikhail and Jeremy pretty even. But Simons was hurt like almost all year. So I need to know is Simons good to go? Is he going to be ready to go? That's what I would need to know.
No, but Cal Bridges is 27, so he's not almost 30. Somebody asked that.
Yeah, no, I mean I would think Mikhail's and I think Cam Johnson's probably right around the same age. 27,
Cam Johnson a little older, 28.
Yeah, okay, yeah, same age basically.
So yeah.
I mean, you're in their 20s still. They're okay.
I mean, Cam can shoot the three a little bit. I mean, he's been banged up too. So I mean,
yeah, he has.
You know, you're getting a lot of that around the league.
Yeah, that's why they're available, right?
Yeah.
That's why some of these guys are available. It's because of their availability.
A lot of truth there, Greg. A lot of truth. I mean, truest thing Greg's ever said. Guys don't usually trade guys that are really good and always on the floor.
No. No, and this is a factor too, right? You'd have to extend McKell next summer, but I have no problem doing that, Luke says. And yeah, that's probably more of a reason that you could get a deal done with them. Yeah, is because of that extension on a 1-year deal left, right? And maybe you don't even have to give up as much.
Also, I think
yeah, and he doesn't come across as a
year.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
What'd you say?
I was just saying I don't think Brooklyn had a very good year either, so they might be like trying to shake some shit up.
Yeah, of course.
And Mikhail doesn't come across as a guy you're going to have to max, right? You know what I mean? Like
no,
I don't think you're
so.
going to pay him, right? But you're not going to have to max him per se, right? So,
no.
Yeah, I would have no problem potentially, signing him to a deal for sure.
Listen, fam, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't. Turn your notifications on. The road to 20K, baby. Yeah. So
Wilson's
listen,
not drunk.
No, Wilson's not drunk. So we'll see how this all shakes out. Obviously, we
talked about it a little bit though. Oubre, Batum, Melton are three guys that I would like to bring back.
Yeah.
And then fourth on that might be
Oubre,
right?
Or Oubre.
2 of the 3, something like that.
And Payne.
No, I wouldn't hate that.
I would love Campaign. Honestly, I might take Campaign over Melton just because I feel like Melton's been another guy's been banged up 2 years in a row now. But I'd be okay with either one. I like me some Campaign. I definitely want Kelly Oubre back. Like to me, Kelly Oubre has to be back.
I think he's got to be the priority of what you bring in trying to bring people back, right? I think he's got to be the priority.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't care less about Paul Reed. I mean, bring him back, don't bring him back. I don't care.
Now, there's one other guy I would like to bring back though. And I would like to run it back with Buddy Hield. I would like to give that a training.
I wouldn't
camp.
hate it. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it.
It's too much talent from 3. It didn't fit right away. But what we saw in game 6 there, it's almost like, dude, bring that back.
Too much of a cock tease, right?
Yeah, because you get a guy who can go off like that for you in a playoff game, that can hopefully win you a game. So, I mean,
absolutely,
it's Oubre, Hield, and Payne are the guys that I would like to have back. Batum talked about retirement, but I mean, I would love them back. So if you gave me 4 guys to bring back and add on to that, so now you have those 4, Maxey, Embiid. Now you have about 3-4 more spots of like really playing time guys. So, go fill that out. Go get deeper. If that's a Bridges, if that's a Payne, right? Whatever way. I mean, a Bridges or a Johnson. However, Grant, Simons, Jimmy Butler. If that's the direction you go, right? Like you have a little bit of that. Now you might not be able to, but all those guys I named are not going to demand a ton of money. Oubre is probably the most expensive. So,
but he's representing himself. I hope we could get it over on him.
Yeah, well, Heald, I don't know what he's going to be asking for, but Batune's not a big deal, and Payne's not a big deal.
No, so smaller deals.
So you might be able to still then pull off a big name too if you wanted to, right?
And I would love Nico back. I'm right with you on that. He's a muscle defensive guy, winner.
Yeah,
he's a guy you
just
just don't want
to.
You want to try to give him a breather a little bit in the regular season, though, right? So
for sure.
That's where maybe Ricky Council gets a lot more minutes, right? That's where you use like maybe that 10th guy off the bench, the get his minutes, get his work in. So I mean, you have listen, you have some options, and like I said, if you could probably still get Jimmy and do all that, because Batoon and Payne are minimal, vet min deals, right? So then you can spend a couple bucks on Oubre, and you can spend a couple bucks on Heald. I mean, I'm good with that. I think that team's, if it's a Jimmy, right? Say it's a Jimmy or a PG hypothetically, right? You're good. You're good. Jimmy, you're better. Right, but that's you could go that route. That's all my point is. Not saying they will, or I want them to, but you could go that route.
No, you could for sure.
And you obviously wouldn't need Buddy though if you went that Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges route, right? You wouldn't need that shooting from Buddy.
No. You would want that if you got the Jimmy,
right.
the Jimmy or the PG.
If you're doing that, you definitely need somebody else.
You want somebody off the bench that can stroke too. You want to give yourself that firepower. Especially when like a PG or Jimmy's going to miss regular season games. You want a guy like Buddy Hield who's going to play every night. It's a nice problem to have. Like, oh, okay, well, we got we don't have Jimmy tonight. Oh, Buddy's starting. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? You're not like in a playoff game it is, but regular season game it's like okay.
Yeah.
Brink said he has no interest in Buddy Hield on his team. I still have interest because I don't think you're paying as much now.
Yeah, I think his value is drastically hurt after the playoffs, 100%.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, there's no way people were like, "Oh, you played 9 minutes a game in the playoffs.
You didn't play 3 games. Give you a bunch of money." Why did you not play games 3 and 4? Right? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah. All right, boys. You want to do crumbs?
Yeah.
Well, Pete, he had his stride, Cassie. Back to our poll question, and we'll finish on this before we get into our crumb of the week. But our poll question that's been voted on, make sure you vote on it right now. Only 52% agreed to this poll question with 2 homers against the Marlins. Cassie has gotten over his early season struggles. Well, bigger than that, fam, we all usually disagree. He's on an 8-game hit streak.
Yeah.
So it's where people, I don't think, will totally lock themselves in. You know what I mean? Until June. Lock in. He's on an 8-game hit streak. How's he not sort of over it? Right? Doesn't mean he won't slump again and struggle. Who knows? But he's definitely come out of it. He's come out of his slump. He hasn't hit 7 homers in 7 days, but he's come out of his damn slump big time. There's not even up for debate. Not even up for debate. So, my crumb of the week is 1 Elliott Shore Parks.
Ooh.
First off, I don't know how that's even allowed to be written. Right? He called him a black gangster.
I don't know what it was.
So he was speaking on Deshaun Jackson and like what happened when he was here, and he brought up how he's a black gangster. So I don't know how that even gets past an editor. Right? I don't even know how the editor is, and like, okay, we can't publish this. Like, what are we doing?
Can't write that.
Well, yeah, what are we doing? How's that even allowed to be written? You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. The guy wasn't a gangster. All right, that wasn't going on. Never said the guy. I don't know how much Deshaun Jackson got in trouble in his life. It didn't seem like a lot. It seemed like Deshaun Jackson was in a lot of trouble through his NFL career.
I feel like he's a punt returner, and like in the offseason he would try to be a rapper. That was like his thing.
Yeah, and I think he was a good dude. Always seemed like he was a good dude. I know it didn't he got traded and whatever, but that happens in this business. But Deshaun was an all-time Eagle. So, and he came back, and even, for Jeffrey to bring him back, down the road proved how Jeffrey felt about him, right? That was a Chip Kelly decision. It was a Chip Kelly decision to remove Deshaun Jackson. So Elliott Shore-Parks, to me, is like trying to defend Chip Kelly. So when are we in the business of defending that idiot? All right? We're never in the business of that. It was a cool little story.
After the first game against the Redskins, we were in the business of that. Remember? Oh, we're so fast. We're going to run 1,000.
We're so fast. We're so fast.
And what, that preseason game, right, against the Packers?
Let's not get started on that, Greg.
Yeah, Greg. That's when we couldn't find a loss.
We couldn't find a loss.
Exactly.
Me and Tom are going through the whole schedule. Like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure they lose the game.
I put a 10 on. I put a 10 on Broad Street after Washington. I said, let's just get this over with because we know where we're going. Who's stopping us? Greatest show ever on the football field. And Chip Kelly's a loser, and obviously a terrible motivator, possibly a racist, according to some. Right? I'm not saying I know how much that if that's true or not. I'm not going to go talk on a guy's character like that, right? But definitely some questionable things through his tenure have come out that could lean you towards that way. But either way, was not you got when you're a coach at this level, guys got to run through walls for you and want to. And obviously guys weren't going to run through walls for him. And that was well documented throughout his time here. There was no fight left with this football team whatsoever.
Philadelphia.
For Elliott Shore-Parks to write that about Deshaun Jackson, to me, is a fireable offense. I don't care how good of work he does covering the Philadelphia Eagles. I do not give a shit. And if he's not suspended for this, it tells you everything you know about WIP, all that Odyssey, and everything that Elliott Shore-Parks is connected to. So that's all. There's my crumb.
Greg, you can go.
Mine is going to be Jalen Brunson. I'm going to keep going in on this.
Wow, here he goes.
I'm glad Sweeps is here just because I can go in on it. I'm here. We'll hear it in an audio. No, I mean that flop though. I mean he's been flopping all playoffs, right? But that flop to end Game 3 was horrendous. To try and draw that foul, and it's just he's the left-handed Trae Young, and the NBA's letting him get away with it. So it's maybe not necessarily all on him, but he obviously showed who he was today. He had a terrible game today. Him and his buddy Josh Hart and DiVincenzo, Villanova U. Didn't show up today. They got boat raced, and so I'm going to go Jalen Brunson. That flop is just on. You can't do that in a playoff game. You can't do that and expect to get away with it.
I love Sweets. He can have whatever opinion he wants, but he's not a top 15 player in the NBA. Nope. So I that's just my feeling. He's right up there. He might be 16, right? And he's a good player. I'll take him, right?
Yeah, he's damn good.
He's tough
he definitely killed us.
Yeah, he's tough as shit.
Well, no, 100%.
But I don't like the fact that he got every call and my guard gets nothing. So that
I don't like that either.
You. That makes me hate you.
A lot. Listen, he's borderline in offensive foul a lot.
It is. It is. It's the Trae Young move that they supposedly banned.
Yeah, I mean, he would stop on a dime and make guys run into his back and then go like backwards when he shot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the definition of an offensive foul, going backwards. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think he hit his head into Kelly Oubre's face like 3 times.
Yeah. 3 times.
And they called a foul on Kelly Oubre every time.
And I'm like, okay, we guess we can't even review this. And like you can't go into the defender space either. Like this is how this works. A defender can't get into your space unless he's still, and you shortstop can't get into his space. So like that's just 101 basketball referee in there. So I don't know why these things are even a thing, right? And I'm not saying we win the series or not, but if you go half and half on those calls between Maxey and Brunson, I think we're still playing. If you want me to be honest with you, I think we're still playing because Tyrese Maxey in Game 6 got 0 calls. I mean, I don't know how many times he had to go hard to the rim and he couldn't get a whistle, couldn't buy a whistle. And then, on that end, they're getting ticky-tack. So that makes me despise Jalen Brunson, right? I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying I wouldn't love him on my team. I love what the Knicks.
I might say he's not good.
Whatever. The Knicks' toughness I enjoy. for sure, but I hate the Knicks.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, he's not a top 15 player in this league, and I'll stand on that goddamn soapbox until he goes and cuts the net down to prove me wrong there.
No,
I mean, the main reason we
100%.
lost that series is because they just completely out hustled us. You know,
Yeah,
they got all the loose balls, they got all the rebounds.
Yep. And,
But
I
mean,
agree with you, Tommy. Like, I didn't hate Jalen Brunson until we had to play him as a Knick.
No,
I was
him.
I was good with Jalen Brunson, but once he said, once he not even said anything, he doesn't say a word. But like once he started you said getting all these calls and the way he was acting on the court, again, nothing that we wouldn't love here as a Sixer player, right? But once he started getting all that, you're like, yeah, I hate you now. I hate your face.
He's very crafty.
Listen, he's very crafty. He's a super talented player. I've always loved his game. Because he's able to navigate without having some of the athleticism other guys have, and he's able to get to his spots, right? So I'll respect that all day. But he went from a guy averaging like 22 a game per se to in the playoffs dropping 40 because he's getting, getting hacked. He's getting all these foul calls, and it's sort of upping the numbers a little bit, and then it's getting a guy in rhythm too. So I mean, I know he's playing 46 minutes, 48 minutes, whatever. But you guys get what I'm saying. He's a good player. He's an all-star player in this league for sure. Nobody's debating that. But I can name you off a bunch of guys I'd rather have, and that's not trying to take away on what he's done and accomplished. So it's that fine line. But when you come into my goddamn building and you're getting more fucking calls than the most improved player in the damn league, I got a fucking problem with that. You understand that? You want to get those calls in the Garden. All right, baby, get those cards in the Garden. And listen, an all-timer in terms of longevity in this league, Rick Carlisle said what? After game 2. Right? He said what?
Yeah. I don't know if I think Rick Carlisle was doing a little too much whining after game 2. But
No, I didn't get into the whine. I got into the big market's going to get all the calls type. That part of it.
I don't know if that's true either.
I know what I watched in our series was true.
I mean, if you look around the league, a bunch of small market teams are still playing. Dallas, friggin' Minnesota, Oklahoma City. They beat all the big market teams. So, I mean, I understand that New York is the Mecca, Madison Square Garden the Mecca, and maybe they did get a little extra calls. I'll give you that. I'm not going to back Rick Carlisle because he said there's 79 plays he sent into the league. Shut the fuck up, Rick Carlisle. 79 plays.
You could have looked at our game and 79 plays too.
That ain't true. Stop crying.
See, I'm not talking about that. That's what I'm trying to say.
I know, but that upset me.
I'm talking about a damn agenda. Why can't you buy into the damn agenda?
Well, because if you look around the league, more than half the teams left are small market.
Well, that doesn't mean they don't need it in the East.
No.
Correct? You need it somewhere, honey.
I mean, we're as big market as New York.
Are we?
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they had a goddamn Brian Colangelo.
Indiana definitely can cry small market. I'll give you that.
Listen, I'm saying how the NBA treats us and has treated us. They treat us like we're a goddamn redheaded stepchild. All right. The fact that you put a goddamn GM in the house and remove a GM, which is like never happens unless it's the guy from the Clippers, the racist, right? I mean,
he wasn't even GM; he was the owner.
The owner.
But
you're not like removing. You're not removing and placing your own person in house here to like clean it up as this guy's got a burner phone. What are we talking about? So don't ever tell me that when somebody comes here or we play a team that the damn agenda for the NBA isn't for that team to advance. And I'll say this again. Don't tell me the damn agenda isn't for the NBA to have New York and Boston in an Eastern Conference final. If it happens, it doesn't happen.
Well, I will say this. What extrapolates the hate on Brunson here is the fact that Maxey was getting no calls and was getting hammered. That's the big thing. You know what I mean?
If Brunson wants to get the calls, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't care, but give him both ways. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also,
it was played one way. That's my problem. It ain't me whining. If you want to call fouls his way, I'm not saying he didn't get fouled sometimes. I'm not telling you that.
Yeah, but Maxey was definitely getting fouled.
My guy got killed. My guy got abused in this series. And then
the other side of that too.
In game 6 in his own building, he goes to the line 4 times. the fuck
And
out
he's
of
on
here.
he's on the floor constantly.
Get out of here.
I love me some Maxey. I want to see him maybe like how like Jalen plays like we call him crafty and stuff. Like Maxey's just a blur of speed, dude. So fast. Maybe if he can learn to get a little slower around the rim. I feel like sometimes he's so fast that they think he's out of control and they'll just swallow the whistle. You know what I mean? When I don't think that's actually the case, but I think that maybe he's so fast it kind of plays against him sometimes. Like Brunson is so deliberate and so takes his time. You see all the hits because he goes so fucking slow. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I'm just throwing shit out there, but I feel like that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, to your point, I mean, Allen flew.
That's true as well. He got a lot of calls. Maybe we just need another year of Maxey. Maybe he'll start getting the calls.
Yeah.
I know they do give it to like once they get a little older.
Not calling him Allen Iverson. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about the speed.
People were calling Jalen Brunson Allen Iverson.
Yeah, that's fucking absurd.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's
like unless he takes that team, unless he takes that team to the NBA Finals, I don't want to even hear that comparison, please. That's
the other side of it.
They play two completely different games. So.
Yeah, the other side of it too is the media coverage or the spin on Jalen getting calls versus Joel getting calls. Right? Joel getting calls is, he's a free throw merchant. Right? Jalen getting calls is, he's crafty. He knows how to draw contact. Huh?
Yeah.
Crumber, how do you disagree with the poll? He hasn't given no real reason to believe one good appearance will change anything. It's about Kazzy. He's had an 8-game hit streak. So
Crumb's a Cardinals fan. Who cares?
I know, but I had to address it. Baby. Come on. I love you for chiming in, but you're wrong again.
Wrong again. Crumb of the week, Crumb, for being wrong again.
And he's right though. Now he's back to being right. NBA officiating has been atrocious. It is.
I understand. Well, guess what? I almost I've been watching some of these NBA games, especially the later ones. They actually hooked me up with Game 6 and started it late, which was awesome. But I either let them call the plays or just review everything because the reviews are outrageous. There's way too many reviews. The game's already slow. It's unreal how many reviews they allow.
Yeah.
Just let the guys just let them call it. Stop going to review. It's brutal.
Mr. Rudy Poo, another super chat, my brother. He said, we appreciate it. He said, no, fellas, Brunson twerks for free throws. I'm not going to have Maxey throw his ass back to get calls. Not basketball. It's really sexual assault. And you couldn't be more right. Couldn't be more right.
I mean, he was throwing backwards headbutts into Oubre's face for the last half of the fourth quarter in Game 6. And each time they're like, foul. I'm like, this is outrageous.
And then you even look at other series too, like, I mean, what they're getting away with, like grabbing and like Kyrie and Luka, like how they're just grabbing and holding them the whole time and not letting them move and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's a mugging every time, and we're just gonna be like, oh, that's tough defense. No, that's a foul. That's a foul.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll say this too. Okay, about Nicky. Nobody's saying Dynasty that the dude ain't gonna swing and start guessing again.
I mean, he'll probably be back on a bad stretch.
Nobody's like, if you listen to the beginning of the show, I agree with the poll that he's come out of it. But I'm not telling you he's not going to have stretches. Welcome to Major League Baseball. Welcome to baseball in general. He just looks worse when he goes through it. His lasts a little bit longer. But when he comes out fucking firing. So you take the go to bed. I mean, dude, the guy's a career pro hitter in this league. Like, we're acting like it's some young hitter who just lost it. Like, he can still play at a high level. He doesn't stink. To say he stinks, like Crumb said, is absurd. He doesn't stink.
He's going to hit 25 homers and have 100 RBIs probably.
Like he doesn't stink, but when he's bad, he stinks offensively. But he still brings you the defensive side that doesn't even get talked about. You want a Gold Glove, and he still brings it even when he's not hitting. So whatever,
Yeah, it stinks is a bad word there. He does not stink. When he's not going well, he looks really bad just because he swings all those outside sliders, and you're like, Nick, you couldn't hit that with a hockey stick. Like, what are you doing?
That was never a strike, Nick.
Is this our Luke? Is this our Luke? Is this Luke Brown?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I'm talking to Luke. I don't even goddamn know him. Like, he's just he's just a chatter. You know what I mean? I was just talking like he's the goddamn chatter.
Well, he's going by one name. I mean,
Yeah.
geez, how are we supposed to know?
A lot of
Who's he?
loops.
Who's he? Sinbad?
Crumb, yeah, you're right. I wish they just did the last 2 minutes. Just review stuff in the last 2 minutes like the NFL does.
Agreed, Crumb. That's the way to fix it because it's just too much. It's too much.
We have
And that
people
should just come
watching.
from upstairs. Like,
yeah, we have people watching. Just say no. That's not a foul. Move on.
Yeah, true. They gotta fine tweak that because it's too much. A couple of those games, they're going to review it after every play. They're reviewing. What is happening right now?
Yeah,
unreal.
It is. Greg, what's your Crumb?
I did Jalen Brunson.
Oh, that's
that was
right.
his
Yeah.
Crumb.
Yeah, sorry.
We
want to throw off the rails on that.
We did.
I totally forgot it was your Crumb.
Mine was kind of. I was going to kind of be, but we already mentioned him. I was going to kind of crumb Indiana's head coach, just Carlisle, just because of that insane. I got 79 plays. Shut up, Rick Carlisle, whiny bitch. But they've got maybe it worked because now it's 2-2.
Sure is.
So hey,
and they bent him over today.
I'll tell you who I'm going to crumb. I'm going to crumb the front offices of the Lakers and the Suns, because both the players. If you look at the Lakers, I mean, LeBron and AD played really well. The rest of them didn't do anything. Suns, I mean, Durant played pretty well. Booker got eaten alive by Ant-Man, and they got swept out. And then they fired both their coaches. Like Frank Vogel's a good coach in this league. I'm not sure how good of a coach Darvin Ham is.
Well, he was handpicked.
But he was handpicked. He was handpicked.
Yeah. I mean, Durant handpicked Vogel, and LeBron handpicked Ham. So I mean,
and we're just gonna it's so tough. I understand the guys are still gonna make millions of dollars. Like they still got to pay them their contract. But who wants to take these jobs? We're like, we got aging veterans, and if we don't win the playoffs, they're gonna fire me. Like this is.
You'll take the job for what you just said.
Yeah, because they got to pay you. Yeah, I mean, I hear that.
You give me a 4-year deal, like what Bogenheimer just signed, 5 years, whatever.
Yeah, 5 years, I think. Boonhauser,
right. Boonhauser, sorry, Boonhauser, 5 years.
I
mean, it's son of a bitch. I mean, what's it, 80 million? So fire me.
He'll probably be fired in 2.
Yeah, fire me. That's all good here, baby. I don't gotta go.
I get that, but I'm just saying.
So these older cats go get
they're
paid.
not blaming the players at all. And it's like they need to.
What if Frank Vogel's deal? Frank Vogel's deal was a long ass deal too.
Yeah, I think he had 3 more years left.
Yeah.
What was Frank's deal, Greg? I'm dying to hear how much money he's just making after having a coach.
I'm sure he's making good money. Probably another 30 mil, I bet.
Vogel was brought in on a 5-year, $31 million contract last offseason.
Yeah.
So yes, they owe him 4 years, and
they let go of another good coach in Monty Williams to bring him in.
$6 million a year.
Yeah.
Over the next 4.
There's paying coaches.
Yeah, there's paying coaches. It's to me, it's your first off, you should let. I don't understand how you expect a guy, especially with the moves like so. The Suns brought in Bradley. Like the Suns have a whole brand new team. Basically, they didn't play together a lot. You expect him to be great in the first year. They get swept out of the playoffs, and you're fired.
Yeah,
it's like what are you expecting? You think you're going to bring another? You think Budenholzer's going to do better next year? I doubt it. Like it's just I don't know. It's the NBA front offices, particularly the Suns and the Lakers right now in my crosshairs, but there's a lot of them, and they do this. There's too much. They blame the coaches too much when really the players are at fault for a majority of it.
Facts.
Oh yeah, players play.
Yeah,
and then plus
or
there's no like, plus when you don't have continuity, it's sort of hard.
It's so hard.
And like those two rosters specifically, like you were talking about, Wells, they're so hamstrung with what they can or can't do, like to improve or anything, right? Because with those two rosters, I mean, there's no cap space, there's no picks to trade, right? So it's not like you can bring anybody in.
They have nothing. Both of them have 3 superstars that they pay way too much money to, and the third guy's not really a superstar. And Bradley Beal for the Suns and D'Angelo Russell for the Lakers.
Yep.
So you're screwed.
Yeah, you can't pay that kind of money for guys that aren't those dudes. So you handcuff yourself for sure. All right, boys. Great show.
Wow, 10. I didn't realize KD was that much of a head coach merchant.
LeBron's had 11 coaches in the last 20 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, super teams are not
crazy.
These super teams are not the formula to win.
I think we were saying this earlier, but I think the super teams are officially dead. If you look around the league, all the super teams the supposed super teams are all out.
It's back to the two-headed monster.
Yeah, two-headed monster. Build good players around them. Yep.
Solid,
Complimentary
guys.
Just look at Denver. Denver did it the right way. They went, and Dallas this year, I know it took them a while, but they went and the Gaffney and the PJ Washington trade, huge trades. They got guys that play well around superstars and play really good defense.
Yeah, and
Denver
when Lucas
did the same thing. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. coming into his own, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Yeah, and you know what? And when you look at, like, they let Brunson go for Kyrie in a way, and Kyrie's game's obviously a little bit faster than Luka's, so I think it gives them a little bit different of a 1-2 punch on how they attack you.
And he's still really good.
And Kyrie's great. Yeah, I mean, he's always
he's off the reservation. But he's a phenomenal basketball player. Phenomenal.
He's always been maybe one of the most talented guards I've ever seen with the ball.
He makes some shots where you're just like, how do you make that shot?
For a little guy too. And there might not be a better ball handler walking around basketball too.
No. And I love Luka's game, but Luka needs to stop arguing. He whines.
He's a whiner.
He's the
Rick
European
Carlisle
LeBron.
player.
He's the European LeBron.
The Rick Carlisle.
Where do you think you learned it from?
Players. He's the Rick Carlisle of players. That's what he is.
Dude, he makes big shots and whines. It's like, Luka, you just made that, dude.
He wants to call every time down the court.
It's crazy. It really is. I like his game, but he needs to stop fucking whining because I'm going to start hating him. Vancouver's got a lead in the third on Edmonton.
Thanks, Yusuf. He said, great show, fellas. Congrats on the 10K over on YouTube. You all deserve it. On the 15K now. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah,
good seeing you. Good hearing from you. Brink says, my crumb is Jazz Chisholm, the Philly rumors.
No.
Yeah, I don't get him.
Why? Why would we even want him? He's not that good of a player. Overrated. Did crush the ball twice off Wheeler today.
Wheeler
Wheels didn't have his stuff today. No control.
No, he was off from pitch one.
He went to Sir Anthony.
Left center pitch, left center fence. But yeah, I don't get it. It's another lefty bat, no. And I don't know that
where's he going to play?
He's obviously an upgrade over Rojas, but is he really?
I mean, he's only played center field for like a year and a half, and I think he's not great at it, I mean,
he's not. He might be an upgrade offensively over Rojas, but he's not an upgrade defensively.
Clearly an upgrade offensively, but it's another left-handed bat, like you said.
But if you take both into account, I don't think that's a true upgrade.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's not even good.
I don't think he's that good either. Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
I bet you if you asked the Marlins right now if they could take back that trade, they'd take Gallen back in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, duh, yeah.
He's flashy. He's flashy, but like he's not good. He's just like a guy.
And he's been hurt a bunch too. The other guy's been hurt a bunch.
Yeah, so now pass on that.
I'm out.
All right, boys. Great show. That's Greg Mocklick. That's Brian Wilson. I'm Tom Arnone. We appreciate you. On your way out, hit the like, subscribe, turn your notifications on. This has been Agree to Disagree, brought to you by our doc, make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, locations Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. We out.
Peace.